Hi, I'm Amy at EuroLuxHome.com. Welcome back to YouTube. So last week, I told you that we were celebrating our 20th anniversary as EuroLuxHome.com. And so I thought that I would continue telling you about the early days of how we got started and why we're still here. So, setting the scene from last week, I told you that we were living and working overseas in Germany and traveling all around. We got bitten by the antique bug by going to antique markets, and we just saw so many expats, people living and working overseas, and U.S. military buying antiques at this market. And we just, all of a sudden it realized, oh, maybe that would be a good business idea to import European antique furniture. So we decided we would take the plunge. Now, I should tell you that while we were living in Germany, we had made a point to pay off all of our credit card debt, and we only lived on one of our salaries and we banked the other salary in order to make a nest egg, just in case we ever actually decided we'd start our own business. So we started out with a nest egg, but we very soon realized that was definitely not enough money to start this business. And so we decided we would sell our house, and luckily my in-laws were very gracious and allowed us to move in. Now, I thought that it would only take us 6 months, no sweat. We were so smart. We were going to get this business up and running, and it took a little longer than that. It actually took 4 years, which is a long time to live with your in-laws, but we are so thankful to them. They really are a big part of EuroLuxHome.com. Now, even though we put in all of our savings and all of the capital from the sale of the house, it still wasn't enough. And so we did convince Greg's parents to become investors in EuroLuxHome.com, which then really puts the pressure on when your in-laws have invested too. So that first year, we really worked 7 days a week, at least 12 hours a day. I think we took half a day on Christmas. It was tough. We worked hard. I mean, we were hustling. And as soon as we brought in the container of antiques and we had bought this building, then we needed to have cash flow coming in. So here at Newberry, South Carolina is a beautiful place to live. We love it so much, but maybe not the most foot traffic. So we decided that we would buy a 28-foot trailer and go out on the road and go to antique markets up and down the East Coast and in the whole Southeast region. And boy, I remember our very first antique market was in Atlanta at the Scott Market. And my gosh, we were such green beans. We took all of the pieces apart and loaded them in the van over about 2 or 3 days. And then we went to the market and we set up and thinking we were going to sell everything. So we had to bring the most stuff. Well, we did sell some things that market, but at the end of the market, we didn't have time to take everything apart and take 2 or 3 days to load the van. We didn't even think about that. And so we were the very last ones. It was like 5 minutes till midnight, and the security guards were really mad and like, get out of here, when we finally shoved the last piece in and got out of there. It was a crazy experience. But you know, those early days, we were on the road all of the time. And I remember there was 1 month where the way the dates fell, there were actually 5 weekends. And we did 5 antique shows in 5 weekends. And while we sold stuff, at the end of the month, we looked at it and we just barely broke even. And so we're like, this is just crazy. We are killing ourselves moving all of this heavy furniture because essentially we're loading up a huge trailer of a house worth of furniture, taking it, setting it up, sitting there for the weekend, selling a few things, and then loading it all back up. So labor intensive. And we had always planned to be an e-commerce business. It's just being on the road was keeping us from doing the work to get online. And so we realized, you know what, we just have to do it. We have to stop going to the shows. And that was tough because that was our main revenue source. And we did it. We decided we'd take that strategic risk and see what happens. So it did take us about 6 months because the thing about antique furniture is that there are no manufacturer's photos. There's no descriptions already about the products. And so we had to weigh everything and measure everything and take all of the photos and write all of the beautiful descriptions and really, detail the condition of each piece. And so it took about 6 months to do all of that work. And in the meantime, no money coming in. Really scary. But from where we stopped when we got off the road and then to when the website went up, our revenue doubled. And so we didn't put ourselves out of business. It was a good decision. And we really have been e-commerce focused ever since. So everything was going good. The business was growing. Each year was a little better than the past. We were meeting all kinds of new people. And then 2008 came around. And if you remember back then, the economy just tanked. And the media were saying that we were going to have breadlines. This was going to be the next Great Depression. And again, really scary time to be owning your own business. And so we had to figure out, okay, how can we grow the business without an influx of capital? And that's when we came up with the idea of reaching out to manufacturers of antique-inspired new furniture and making alliances. So even though some of the manufacturers, it was kind of early days for selling furniture online, and even though some of the manufacturers were not interested in working with us, some did, and we convinced them that one, we were really good at marketing furniture online, and two, we were really good at shipping furniture all across the country, and three, we knew how to organize data. Now, by that I mean, my husband, Greg, has been a computer geek from way back. As a little kid, that's all he liked to do, was play on the computer. And so he actually built our system to manage all the data, because when we started taking pictures of all the antiques, we realized some pieces you would need to take 50 or 60 images just to really show all of the details, show the condition, and that's a lot of data to manipulate. And so Greg built our system, and not only did he build it in order to manage all the data, it's also really important when you have one-off unique items to be able to sync them. Because not only were we selling by this time on our website, we were also selling on eBay, Amazon, Houzz, Cherish, Etsy. And so it really is very common in this antiques industry that when something sells, 5 other people suddenly want to buy it. And so he had to create the system that would pull it off of the various marketplaces when it sold in one of them. And so that system has now become something that we share with other entrepreneurs, because we realized that it helped us so much, and we wanted to be able to help other small mom and pop businesses to also sell online and manage all of that data. So we have rolled out a new company called sync2sell.com. If you're interested, please go see that website. I'd love to tell you all about it. But it has been part of the history of EuroLuxHome.com. Now, we, of course, in the past 20 years have seen highs and we've seen lows. We've had great times and we've had really hard times. It's the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into your business. We've stood at the cliff facing failure, and we've also had boom times. It's just the up and down. But it has been a crazy, wild ride. We have loved it so much. And the latest, most exciting thing that's going on here at EuroLuxHome.com is that we've created our own line of antique-inspired new furniture. And not only do we have that, but we also sell, again, we still work with manufacturers of very high quality, beautiful, antique-inspired furniture, names such as Maitland Smith or Theodore Alexander, Jonathan Charles, Aston Court, really beautiful things. And we, of course, still love the European antiques, and we still hand select everything in continental Europe. Now, my favorite part I have to share with you of being a part of EuroLuxHome.com is working with people. We are 99% e-commerce, and we've sold into all 50 states, and we just hit 50 foreign countries. So on any given day, I never know who I'm going to be talking to through email or text or on the phone. And for me, that is the most fun part, because your home is a very personal space. And if I can help someone find a really beautiful, the perfect, beautiful piece for their home, so that every day when they get up and they look at that beautiful piece of furniture or chandelier or home decor and it brings them joy, that is my passion. That's why I keep doing this business. I just love it. Come back next week and I'll tell you more of our funny stories, some of the brushes we've had with celebrities, and why we keep doing it. So come back, see you next week.